Please subscribe to the Books on Toast channel or Thugs of Hindustan will get a sequel.
Hey guys. So you know how this year is ending, and we decided that we have to do a recap of all the best books that we read, and then we decided that we have to do a recap of all the worst books that we've read, and that's why we are, even though stunningly beautiful, but very sad
I
right
feel like
now.
shit. You have no idea what torture feels like till you've had to read through a book because of you guys. We put ourselves through all this torture so that we can read books and finish the books that we take on, even though they're disastrous, and then we feel like shit.
So we are now going to recap some of the worst books that we read this year, and we are not going to hold back. So we are really sorry, people whose books we are going to shit on. But like, why did you write them? Why don't I start? Okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to start with a book that I have a lot of feels for, because like I read it and I'm like, how I want to bludgeon myself to death with this book, because I have spent time reading it that I will never get back. Okay. It's called, and I genuinely wanted to see what kids were reading in India, and I wanted to see what the bestseller list had.
Yeah.
And I found this one book which everybody hailed as like India's Percy Jackson or India's Harry Potter. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to read this. So I picked it up, and it's hands down, though, my nomination for the worst book written in 2018. And it's called Patal Prophecy, and it's an author called Christopher Doyle. And holy shit, this book is bad. It's about two kids named Arjun and Maya, and how their life completely changes after their favorite history teacher is found murdered.
Oh.
And then they find that their family is involved in something called the Sangh, and it's a secret society, and all of that blah blah blah. And this book is the most derivative piece of fantasy fiction that I have ever read. And not only is it badly written, but it's also poorly characterized. Like, the characters are just, I'm like, if they die right now, I will not give a shit. But I saw it through to the end, and even the end is disappointing. I'm like, at least there'll be some sort of battle and some fun or something, but there's nothing. And I'm trying not to spoil it for you, although I don't know why I'm doing that, out of basic courtesy, I guess. But it is so poorly written, guys. Okay, I'm going to read something, and I've highlighted these parts out of sheer frustration. Okay, and I'm going to give an example. Tiwari's smiling round face suddenly came to her mind the comfort and security of his pleasant company, providing a welcome distraction from the horrifying scene below her. In a flash, she was whisked away from the horrifying scene below her and was back to the warmth and comfort of her bed in Tiwari's guest room.
What is below her?
Horrifying scene below her repeated. Comfort and security and warmth repeated. Tiwari's smiling round face repeated. And this is just an example of the just so lazily written, so lazily written. Every chapter is what they think about something, and then they're like, but what will he do? But what will he do now? Will he be able to figure out what? Stating the obvious in questions. First stating it as a statement and then repeating it as a question. Oh my God, if I had, like, my hair fell out in clumps at the end of this book, where I was like, at least edit it, at least, please don't read this, it is so bad. I'm okay. I'm all right.
Well, I had very similar feelings. I read the first book on my list, and I picked it up because every review website and every publication lauded this book as this amazing gem that has fallen from the skies into our laps, and it must be the one book you must read. It is called The President is Missing by, wait for it, Bill Clinton and James Patterson.
What?
So I picked it up thinking, अरे मेरे पास time है, मैं holiday पे जा रही है, मैं चल पड़ती है. You know, one of those things. And then horrifyingly, like, everything escalated to a point where I felt like I want to jump out of the plane and kill myself because it was so bad. I could have just watched in-flight entertainment. I don't know why I did this to myself. So the plot is, first, Bill Clinton and James Patterson, okay? As I'm going to be very nicely directed by our director, Johan. I did not have acceptable relations with this book. It was bad. It's basically a thriller, a political thriller, which is James Patterson's, like, whatever, handiwork. And Bill Clinton is writing it. So I think all the stuff that he couldn't do in his presidency, he's, I think, having...
It's his fantasy.
It's his fantasy. So 10 pages in, the president is missing. There's a cyber terrorist at work. The Secret Service has had a major failure. His daughter is abducted. There is some woman, mysterious woman in Ukraine calling. I'm just like, is this like Kiefer Sutherland on cocaine? Like, what
Which
the
probably
hell?
is.
Like, I would rather, if I wanted to do this, I would have rather sat through an episode of Designated Survivor with my dad, which is a much more enjoyable experience than this bullshit. Do not read it. But, guys, Showtime is making a series.
Oh
You
no.
will enjoy, don't worry. You can watch it.
Oh no.
That's all I have to say about it.
Well, I just want to say I can't wait for President Obama's collaboration with Nora Roberts to come out. I'm sure it'll be amazing. My second book
Oh, Lord.
is
Torture.
is the name of the author is also the name of my favorite snack as a Maharashtrian. His name is Kevin Misal and I love misal pav. And again, I was like, what are the kids reading in Indian mythology? And people, and this just the second book is coming out now, which is a sequel to the first book, which I'm going to talk about. It's called Kalki. It's called Kalki. And because there is this notion in Indian publishing, I don't know if it's true or no, that mythology sells. There are a lot of these, yeah. I mean, go figure, yeah. There are a lot of these mythological books. And I was like, I read so much Greek and I read so much Roman and I read so much Norse, so I should find good books in Hindu mythology as well. So I'm like, chalo padhte. I went to Granth bookstore in Juhu and I picked up this horrifying piece of shit named Kalki. And it's not as bad as Patal though, so I've got to give it that. It's like it didn't suck completely, yeah. Where Patal is just like, मैं Lord of the Rings से ये लेगा, मैं Percy Jackson से ये लेगा, और कुछ तो कचरा करके डालेगा. Kalki at least tries to be emotional. So it's set in the medieval times about a boy named Kalki who was born in the family of a farmer and his brother Arjun and their adventures. And what happens is that they have Soma caves in their village which are shut down, and then of course there are people who want those Soma caves for power. So it opens with a very interesting battle scene, and I expected that the book would go somewhere, but the problem is it was so unoriginal that I just got bored and I gave up. And again, it suffered from really poor writing, really lazy editing, and just in terms of plotting, there was nothing original. So when you have a Game of Thrones in your life where political intrigue is done so well, where you literally cannot predict what will happen next, and then you're reading a Kalki where you're like, now this will happen, now this will happen, now this will happen, I don't care. I don't care. Again, poor characterization. Just, why are people reading these books? Why are they? You can do, guys, there is so much better stuff out there. Indian also. Don't read Kalki Bakke. Ho.
There.
I am all for writers experimenting with Hindu mythology, but I am yet to find a book that has actually given me the kind of pleasure that, say, Cersei did.
Yeah.
So here's a challenge, literary authors, write something great in the Hindu mythology space. Because there is so much there that can be worked into modern times. So I have actually read a book which I thought was pretty good. Again, it will not win any literary awards and it had its flaws, but its base is in Hindu mythology, and it's written by a woman named Shraddha Taneja. It's called Cult of Chaos. It's book 1 in the Anandya Tantrist Mysteries, where she's a tantric detective.
Oh,
And she
I think
solves
I watched
crimes.
this, yeah.
And it is really funny, and the lead character is amazing. She's super feisty, she doesn't give a fuck, and she's profane, and oh my god, I really enjoyed that book. So that I feel like was the first time I found something that I enjoyed that had Hindu mythology. But I think we need better. So I'm on the lookout. If you guys know any good books.
The other book that I read, which I don't know why I picked up, is because I've been a fan of this actor and I thought कि maybe कुछ तो अच्छा आएगा. But oh my god, this book describes the term weird flex but okay.
Weird what?
Weird flex but okay. It's like a millennial term, which is like, like somebody who flexes and like shows off, but for what reason, no idea.
Oh, okay.
It's like weird flex but okay. So anyway, this book is called Bob Honey Who Just... What? Sorry. It's called Bob Honey Who Just Do Stuff by Sean Penn. The title is only like some sort of a clue or a mystery, or I don't know what's going on. And the cover is absolute garbage. You would have seen the cover. It would have come on your screens. And the book is like a strange like satire of American culture in its current state. Like political systems, extreme racism, also the fact that there are so many like entitled like factions who are in their own way, you know, trying to create like white supremacy rule in America. So it's just like a weird satire of all of that, but it's done very poorly. The story is about this character who is an assassin. So
Sharon
it's
hates her.
kind of like fun, but I was like, okay, maybe there is something in this book that will come out of actual worth. But it's just like, I feel like it's kind of like autofiction where Sean Penn is sort of, you know, living out his fantasy of being relevant to society now that he's not doing anything in life anyway, and he's a divorcee and he just goes around killing like elderly people. He's an assassin of elderly
Why?
people. Like why? Like what are elderly people doing to
Mean
you?
Sean Penn.
Yeah, like just grandparents, man. They're, I think, better than other people. Honestly, I love grandparents, but like I don't know, like there is
Also, they will die on their own. Why are you killing them?
yeah, like why waste so much energy? And it's such
Waste of a
blah.
bullet.
But it's not even the story that is problematic, it's the language. I think Sean Penn is having some sort of stream of consciousness and he's like, मैं poet हूँ, मगर मैं poet नहीं हूँ. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like so many alliterations for no reason. For instance, there is one investigative journalist, I've written this down. His name is Spurley. And this is the sentence, okay? Spurley sloppily slurps a popsicle.
Is it a children's book? I'm guessing not.
It is so
Because
weird.
that is also very sexual.
I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what? Like, why? I read the whole book, I don't know why.
Clearly.
I'm like laugh crying, I don't know why.
He needs
It's
to
just- I
change his
I need
name
therapy.
to Sean. Don't give him a pen.
It's horrible, yes. Don't give him anything. Please, you sit your retired life. Get a cabin in the woods, you know.
Get a cat.
Like, just get a cat. Do something valuable with your time. Do not write. Don't do this. No, it was horrible, guys.
I think the last book that we'll discuss in this. Okay. And we actually have fewer worse books. I'll tell you why. It's because we just didn't read the books that we didn't like. Right? We just gave up and we're just like, why the fuck should I read this? So I would like to say in our Mad and Furious City, which was one of the Booker nominated books,
अच्छा.
I was like, क्या पक्का किताब है, मैं नहीं पढ़ेगा, fuck this shit. So we don't have too many, but that's why this is just 5 books. But oh my god, we can talk about the books we couldn't finish reading and that will just take all day.
No, I do want to talk about the worst self-help book that came out
Yeah,
this year,
exactly.
which
That's what
is
I'm saying.
Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by
Yes,
Mark Manson.
yes.
And
But-
we did a video.
But it
about
didn't come out this year. It didn't come out this year.
Oh, it
but it
came
is the
out- yeah.
it's the worst
Sorry.
worst book that I've read. Not that it's badly written. I think it's okayly written. I just saw so much such glimpses of unnecessary misogyny and again
Yes.
a very derivative work.
It is. And we did a video, and I know that a lot of you guys commented on it saying that disagreeing with why we didn't like it. And I think maybe we did not make the point effectively. But just for record, I would like to state that the problem with the book is not the fact that it's badly written. And yes, it does hint on theory of Stoicism and Buddhism, but it is irresponsible. For instance, there is this point where Mark Manson takes how people come up with their own versions of the truth, which are false truths, and he uses the case of, you know, women who have
That woman
wrongfully
that woman who wrongfully accused her father of sexual harassment. Yeah,
and
sexual
then
abuse.
And then he goes on to describe how in the 80s and the 90s a lot of men were jailed because of that. Now it's okay if you live in an equal world, but what Mark Manson doesn't realize is that we live in a very we live in a world of extreme gender inequality.
Yeah.
And if you understand what is happening in the current state of affairs, like with the Me Too movement and women just like standing up for all the abuses they have suffered through over the years,
Absolutely.
this kind of stuff when you read is extremely irresponsible.
Yeah.
Because it really affects your judgment and it tells people that, hey man, this is only happening to like a small section of society, which is not true.
Yeah.
It's everywhere and it's boring and it's repetitive. That is the other problem with this book.
I
So-
like all the anecdotes that he opens with. Those are interesting. Like he talks
Yeah.
about that one Japanese soldier who continued the World War II fight till like another Japanese dude went and found him. And I don't remember the names now because it's been a while since I read the book, but it's a very famous anecdote and you can look it up. So he's done a good job of collating these stories, but I like Sharon said it's very irresponsible, and there's random misogyny in it.
Yes,
Like suddenly
yes.
it's like Jennifer Aniston's tits, and I'm like, was that necessary, dude?
Yes. And
So
there's a lot of mansplaining, which
it's
is the
a-
problem with it.
it's a very,
It's not-
very skewed male perspective, and someone online described it as Buddhism for bros, and I cannot agree more. It's literally, it's taken something that is a part of something else and then tried to explain
it's
it.
oversimplifying
Yeah,
a big philosophy
Yes.
to its very smallest
Yeah.
application.
It's Buddhism for dummies.
Yeah,
So
please don't do
it's
it,
just,
guys.
you know, there are better self-help books. And I mean, I have a general disdain for self-help books, but I know that Sharon says
No,
that there
they
are,
are,
and I
yeah.
like Sharon, so, you know.
Yeah. Watch our video, watch that video to know what more other books that you can read in the genre, but you can completely skip Mark Manson, is
Yeah.
the point. Yeah.
I want to do an honorable mention for books that people loved but I found underwhelming. And I think the first one there was The
Yeah,
Hate You Give, which was a nice book. I have no complaints. And also telling the story of the shooting of a black student from the perspective of the sole black girl witness as a young adult novel was like awesome. It was so pertinent to today's times. So it's a good enough book. It's not bad. It's you know, it doesn't bore you at any point, and you're invested in the story. It's just that it ends in a very underwhelming place, and I just felt like it could have been revolutionary, but it's not. It's just it's a
Skimming the
reflection.
surface.
Yeah, it's a reflection, I suppose. It's her story. It's just that I thought that it would end in a much more inspirational place.
Yeah.
So the movie's coming out. Maybe it's better. I don't know.
So again, like an honorable mention again, I've been a huge fan of this author's previous works, but when Muhammad Hanif's Redbirds came out, it really left me underwhelmed, only because of the fact that the plot was compromised for the love of language. And that is a fault that we can hold a lot of, you know, many authors for. And in this case, I think he was too close to the subject matter. Now, Muhammad Hanif has written prolifically about all the situations that are happening in Pakistan and Afghanistan. His book, A Case of Exploding Mangoes, and also the, you know, Our Lady of Alice Bhatti, were amazing books. You know, they spoke about all the issues with the caste system, and also just, you know, conflict in Pakistan and Afghanistan. And Redbirds was an extension of how for years and decades now Americans have bombarded, you know, the upper hills and deserts of Afghanistan, and they don't really know what is happening to generations of people born into conflict, which is such a great subject matter. But and the plot is about like a American pilot who crash lands onto a desert area that he was supposed to bombard, and now he's trying to find his way back to, you know, civilization or his troop. And then there is this another one local kid who is searching for his brother. So there are two perspectives, and you know, at some point the both of them will collide, and they will both somehow help each other, you know, reach civilization, because both of them are lost in the plains. But he really builds up that tension, and he doesn't relieve you
Go
of
it
the
anywhere.
tension, you know. So you are like always waiting that this is going to happen, but the plot is hyper compromised, which is, I guess, a fault with just great writing and storytelling in general.
Yeah. I found that
So,
with
yeah.
a lot of the JCB nominated books as well, and Booker nominated books like
We spoke
Water
about
Cure,
those,
really well written, but like
Yeah.
I think the closing should be, I really want to shit on Crazy Rich Asians as a series. And because of the movie, there was so much hype around those books. And
Which never came to India.
it came much
came?
later. Yeah,
Oh,
it
shit,
came. Eventually, I think after a million people tweeted about it, it came. But I read that book and I was just blown away by how people will read anything that is shitty as long as there is hype around it. Guys, come on. There's better chiclet out there.
Yeah.
But I think the thing about Crazy Rich Asians is that it was about Singaporean high society as opposed to like New York and Manhattan and London. So people found that refreshing. But apart from that, that book is boring as fuck. It is repetitive. It has crazy
It's tropey and
explanations of what people are wearing, and after a while you're just like,
Why?
shut up. I don't care if she's wearing Dolce and Gabbana that costs $1 million or whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I don't. Just stop talking about the clothes. So it was very like soap operatic and whatever. I got bored. I just read the Wikipedia summaries of the other two books, and the third book came out this year, so it was very relevant, and I was just like,
Well, I'd gone to Singapore when the movie had just come out, and I could see hoardings and posters of it everywhere. But every local person would just diss the book, and they
Yeah.
would just find they would find it their right to represent the city more effectively and
Yeah,
appropriately
yeah.
to me, and by saying, "Do not read this, do not see this movie. It is not us. We are not like this." I'm like, okay. I won't. So even Singaporeans hate that book.
Obviously,
and,
it's like
series and-
Indians hate Slumdog Millionaire. It's
Of
the
course.
West is. It's not like a
Q&A by
Singaporean.
Vivek
Yeah,
Vikas
it's,
Parup.
yeah, it's not like a Singaporean directed the movie, but a
Yeah.
Singaporean wrote the book, so I don't know where it went wrong.
Maybe he was American Singaporean.
No, he was Singaporean.
Singaporean,
Yeah, now he
Singaporean?
lives in America, of course.
Oh well, there you have
But
it.
he was part of this Singaporean high society. That's how he wrote. He was a fly on the wall. So there you have it. Our picks of the worst books that we read this year, and the books, some books that we found underwhelming. And we hope that you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed all the emotion that came with it. And
Hyper feels.
we felt very strongly about everything that we spoke about. If you think we've missed a book, please tell us in the comments. If you loved one of the books that we hated, please tell us in the comments. But make good arguments,
Yeah.
because just we have very strong feels.
Yes. And don't be like weird flex, but okay.
I don't know what that means because I'm in my 30s, but
I
Sharon
learned
has
it.
Google.
I as Google.
Okay, bye guys. Have a great new year where you read only amazing books, and share this video if you agree with what we've said or just because you thought it was fun, and also subscribe to our channel and leave comments. And also we are on Patreon. So please, if you want to support our cause of books and reading, contribute little bit money, give us